Jacob will give me like all access pass to the BET Awards or to the Grammys, which I usually go anyway, but he'll give me like the all access. And sometimes it just hangs on my review or whatever. I don't go. I should sell it or something. I don't know.
I mean,
Jacob doesn't care. He's like, he does not care either way. He was like, hey, here. But it was just funny because Paula Abdul's a hoot, by the way. Such an absolute hoot. She's a beautiful person. Funny person.
I mean, I see her on the screen all of the time. Is she just as beautiful as she is on the screen?
She's amazing. She reminds me of my mom a lot because they're the same size and they kind of look alike. So they're both very skinny and tiny.
Yeah.
And she is literally like this big.
And a ball of energy.
And I'm skinny and little, and so are you. But I mean, this gives it another meaning.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going?
Where'd you come from? What did you do?
I don't understand. Yeah.
Tell me about your mom and your upbringing.
My mother is a very strong woman. She had me at a very young age, at 16, when it was like, everyone's fighting for all these abortions. And I'm like, but I would have been not even here. So I'm the opposite. I fight for life.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's reasons why people get them, and I'm not against it for them. But thank God she didn't abort me because I'm here now.
Yeah.
And my brother, who's 27 years old, she had him at 40.
Wow.
So both instances could have had abortion there.
Yeah.
But she loves babies. But she's a strong woman. She really, I think, went through the stigma of being a young teen mom.
Sure.
And my dad at the time, his parents were very against it, which that changed when they met me when I was 2 years old. That changed dramatically. But, for those 2 years, she was an outcast
By
at her school.
raising
She had to go to
you.
pregnant school to have me. And then once she had me, she went to beauty school.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where my energy, because I was around all these hairdressers, which you can imagine.
The stories, the
diversity,
personalities.
the stories, like yeah. So, but she's a trooper. She's a trooper. Yeah, very much a trooper.
What was it like growing up in California?
I am forever a California girl. I mean, Florida's got the hurricanes. Like, forget it. I love it there. I do go there for swim week and all these other amazing fun times, like just to go and travel there. But I'm a California girl.
And you've never left to live anywhere else?
No, just traveled. I think I will buy a place. I think we talked about this, but on the south of France.
Yeah.
Because it is so amazing there. Whenever I go to Cannes Festival, I'm like, Monaco's on a train ride 20 minutes away. And then you've got the Cannes city, and then you've got Nice, which is right there.
Yeah.
And you could drive across France and go wherever you want, as you know, to your hometown. But I'd also like to have a place in New Jersey. So like Hoboken area, which is, like the nicer part where it's like on the coast, and or out on the Hudson River.
Sure.
And you would see the city, and it's 12 minutes away in a ride,
Yeah.
a cab ride. So you could, you could live there happy part of the year.
Yeah.
but I'm a California girl for sure. 100%.
California for me, like even growing up, I watch a lot of TV. It's this like miracle, right? Like you have the city, you have entertainment, you have these big mansions, you have MTV Cribs or whatever, it's everybody's like North Star of where you want to be.
It is. It truly is.
It always blows my mind because, you grew up here, obviously you were always around entertainment, but I wonder, did you know that it was the special place or was it just normal?
I knew I wanted to get here, but I knew that it was a dangerous place. It was almost like New York City, very dangerous, lots of homeless people everywhere. And it's gotten worse through the years.
Yeah.
COVID, it's gone downhill. We have to do something about our homeless. Politicians, listen. Especially the local politicians, please listen.
Somebody.
We roll out the red carpet during the Oscars.
Yeah.
And, I did work as a cosplayer out there as a bunny, Playboy bunny, which was my, passion. But I was actually a Hollywood bunny because I can't say Playboy bunny yet because I wasn't wearing the Playboy outfit. I will say that getting here and actually living here and being here is such a stark contrast from Orange County, because there are homeless in Orange County and things like that, but it's a lot cleaner in most of the areas I grew up in: Anaheim Hills, La Habra Heights, Whittier. You just don't see people just lying on the ground.
Sure.
So that was a shock.
Well, people, right, like we just talked about it, people come to LA, they want to take from the city, they want to be famous, they want to make money, they want to be an influencer, they want to meet people, right? And proximity is a big part of that, right? You're here where the productions are happening, which thankfully with the new taxes and stuff, hopefully a lot more productions will happen over here. But Tell me about like you growing up, like, you know, you obviously were around a lot of stars and that became stars over the time. Did you want to be a celebrity? Did you want to be an actress?
Well, okay, so I always knew because we were close to LA. So there's always auditions.
Yeah.
I auditioned for Annie Part 2. I got the part of this little cute little girl in that film, and then the writer's strike came. So I was like, I'm not doing that film, I guess. Excuse me. But my mom always had me from 4 years old in ballet, tap, jazz. Then I started doing hip hop later when I got to LA when I was in my 20s, which was very different than ballet and jazz and tap. The moves, but I learned some of them, so I can still do some of them. But I think that I was geared for it at such a young age with all the dance classes and like dance moms. That was like my life. Like my mom was like that. She was like one of those moms. But I was never in pageants. I didn't do that until later in life. And I was glad for that because that's so fake and weird and contrived and it's just comical. But I did know that I started noticing a lot of my friends going really big. One of my really good friends from high school, Chris Finch, a little younger than me by a couple years. And then, of course, he toured with the amazing Madonna.
Yeah.
So he was in my same dance school, and it was kind of fun from going from Bailey's dance school to Madonna tour.
Yeah.
So Gwen Stefani and I, she wasn't famous at the time, but we were very, very dear friends, best friends. And we got to go watch him tour with Madonna. Wow. And he has a part where he kisses her. So it's very controversial because he's like a little boy. He was a high schooler. And Madonna kisses him during Open Your Heart. And it was kind of interesting seeing Gwen and myself as audience members.
Yeah.
And then years later, she made it.
I mean, just look at the opposite side of it when you're on stage and doing everything. But
well, and Gwen and I sang together. We were in Primary Colors, the band, and we were both backups. And we had a lead singer named Jay. And we also had a guy named John Spence, who ultimately, he did take his own life. He actually was the lead singer of No Doubt at one point. But my first boyfriend was Eric Stefani. Her brother, and I knew Eric before Gwen. So it was like freshman year in high school, and I was dating this 19-year-old. It was like a big controversy, but we never did anything. We never actually, we
kissed.
We made out.
Was he your first kiss?
We made out. Not the first. My first was in, when I was 8 years old this little boy gave me a kiss. And then he kissed my friend also, and then he fell off a tree. And we were like, David, what happened? And that was it for that. And then it was like years later, I went, a few years, probably 4 years later, funny. I had a boyfriend in middle school, and then, experimenting with little things, but never had the real thing.
Yeah.
And then even with Eric being so much older, I was still a virgin until I was my freshman year in college.
Wow.
And I've told that story on Playboy Radio many times. But things happen. But I always knew, I was like, okay, Gwen's getting momentum, like she's going to make it. So I started doing I was a musical theater major. That was my whole, in college, my major was musical theater.
Yeah.
I went to USIU, which ultimately lost their accreditation for arts. So then I had to transfer to Cal State Fullerton and then UCLA. They didn't, it was a private school. They didn't have enough funding. And the arts are always the first thing they cut, chop it down, bye-bye. But I would have gotten straight A's in that school because I was literally like a pioneer.
Yeah.
And I actually disrobed because my drama teacher said, we're going to get in the middle of the class. And he was real, what is that? Where we have to actively do what it is in acting. Like it's very hands-on. And so he said, do something you would never do. Like some people went up there where they farted and this is when Howard Stern was starting out. It was like a big, you got to do really weird, controversial things. Madonna was popular. So I just went up there and I just like went, da 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 ah, and then lo and behold, all of the school was like, "We love you," and so I became like this liberal like leader of the school. I was a freshman, so I went from like a new freshman where they're like, "You don't have talent. You think you came here as the leader of your high school? Well, guess what? You're a freshman here."
Yeah.
Like they were really hard on me at that school. But it was an amazing school. I learned musicianship. I learned piano. I learned all these things that probably I should have learned at a younger age, but I was so focused on dance.
Yeah.
But it opened up this world of, attend the tale of Sweeney Todd. His skin was pale and his eye was odd. Da, 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 da. But I sing classically trained opera and everything now.
I could never.
But I can also do you and me. We used to be together every day together, always. I really feel that I'm losing my best friend. I can't believe Francesca could be the end. So yeah, so I can sing.
Let me just walk out.
I can sing alternative too. But my record deal with Warner Brothers came later after the Playboy years, actually, and they did say you sound an awful lot like Gwen Stefani, and I was like, well, we learned how to sing together because she had this amazing voice. Though she did this kiss the day goodbye, the sweetness and the sorrow. We did what we had to do, but I won't forget what I did for love, what I did for love. She sang that from the chorus line about 1,000,000 times better than I just did right now. And that was out the gate, no lessons, no voice lessons. This was in high school when we were doing the chorus line. So this is how it went, 'cause she was 2 years older than me and we were best friends. She would get the lead, like in Grease. It's Gwen Stefani, and then Michelle Farrell would be Frenchie.
Yeah.
Was it love at first sight? Tell me more, tell me more. But she was doing like the, but now there's nowhere to hide. I could go super loud, but I won't.
Wow.
Push my love aside. So she was doing all those songs. And I was just like, damn, girl. But she would come to me and she'd go, Shelly, this is a Gwen Stefani impersonation. Hey, dude, Shelly, okay. And she just talks like that now even. She's like, do the Madonna. Do it right now. Do it. I'm like, okay. You've got style. That's what all the girls say. Satin sheets and luxury so fine. Oh yeah, all your suits are custom made in London. But I've got something that you'd really like. So she would have me do Madonna. And everyone from 7th grade up was like, are you Madonna? Are you Madonna? I'm like, I'm in 7th grade. She's 25. But everyone thought I was actually Madonna.
Wow.
So I became obsessed with Madonna. I was Madonna wannabe, but I literally would sing like her, act like her. So whenever Gwen would be like, go, I would do it.
You were ready.
So I'm kind of a chameleon. Yeah. I can I can sound like other people. So, I don't know if you know old bands, like gothic bands, like Susie Sue and the Banshees, The Cure, The Cure.
Yes.
So
Banshees, yeah.
So they were in a band together, and then Robert Smith went and did The Cure, and then Susie was off on her own. But she did that one. They found you hiding, they found you lying, choking on those dirty lies, with all your stories and former glories cut in their throat. And oh, your city lies and dust, my friend. So she would make me sing. Gwen's like, you're gonna sing now. And this was like, holy shit, this is before No Doubt.
Wow.
So she was like, you're going to be a star. You're going to be a star. You are a star. So when she started getting momentum, she's like, come over. We're cutting your hair. We're dyeing it platinum. And I was like, what the hell? She's like, you're driving my mom's station wagon. I'm like, Gwen, I don't even know how to drive. She's like, get behind the wheel now. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So she would make me do certain things. And she taught me how to use a tampon because I didn't know how to do that. But she was like the best friend that was like, there's no choice to say no.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a dangerous friend to have.
Yeah.
But we would sneak into Red Hot Chili Pepper concerts. Her brother would sketch tattoos for bands like Fishbone. So they're on one of my Scooby-Doo songs, Fishbone, because of Eric Stefani. Thank you so much, Eric, making that connection. But they were an amazing family. And when I tell you, Eric's not even known because he quit the band right when they made it.
Yeah.
I have no idea why. Eric, why did you do that? We should interview him. Why the hell did you do that? But he quit the band. He wrote Don't Speak. He wrote Walking into Spider Webs, Leave a Message and I'll Call You Back. So he wrote all those hit songs that won Grammys and all that stuff. 20 million records sold first year out the gate. Wow. So then it was like harder to get her.
Yeah.
But Playboy Mansion to Gwen's house constantly. She lived up in Los Feliz. And I would go there. I would go from the Playboy Mansion to her house.
Wow.
Because I wouldn't sleep at the mansion. I'd go to the parties. I'd go to the Fun and Sun barbecues. And then I'd drive to her house.
Because you were in the world.
1995, 96, 97, 98, 99.
You were in the world. You met everybody. You knew Hef. You knew all the playmates.
Hef came up to me at the Hilton.
What happened?
He said, girl, okay, here was one thing. Merv Griffin, who was amazing. Merv Griffin Productions, he had a talk show like this, famous man. He produced all of the Golden Globes at the Hilton. He owned the Hilton Hotel, I believe, with the Hiltons. But he was a billionaire, and he and Hef were very good friends. I would go to the Coconut Club, his club at the Hilton in 1995. I started going there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. It was like the Coconut Grove, mirrored dance floor, huge white ballroom, chairs like this, big booths, and then there was a big band, like 30-piece orchestra. And then you get up there, never know how much I love you. Never know how much I care. Hey, Hef, never know how much you give me. A fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever. And then he would just be like, and he had the 7 blondes. Olivia Newton-John would be like, you're an amazing dancer and singer. And I'm like, Olivia, but it was celebrities like that where it was just my dream people were there. And I did bring Eric Stefani there. I brought him there, and it was a bizarre night. It was so bizarre. He had no money. I was like, he's a billionaire. He can pay for anything. He just, I didn't know. I thought he had money. He didn't bring a wallet because he gets in free everywhere. So I was like paying for him. I'm like, is this enough, Tony? Tony Griffin. I was like, is this enough to get in? He's like, just go, Michelle. You don't have to pay anything. I'm like, all right, let's go. So Tony Griffin was like, you got to meet my dad, Merv. Yeah. I finally met Merv, and he said, Michelle, in that dress, it was a baby pale pink Marilyn Monroe style, Happy Birthday, Mr. President dress. And it was baby pink fur, went all the way to the butt crack, boobies. I had little boobies at the time. They were kind of perky boobies, but I had the Kate Hudson body, big butt, little boobies. Just to give people a visual. Just to, that are maybe listening to on Spotify and they can't see it. But the funny thing is that he said, you could make a gay man straight. And at that point, the designer who was making my dresses, Jacques from France, thank you, Jacques, Hef took note. He was like, you need to sit at our table. And I had this cute boyfriend at the time. His name was Jack. It was just like Titanic. Jack Rose, Jack. But it was Michelle, Jack. But Jack could get into the dinners with Hef too.
Yeah.
Because he was so cute. He looked just like Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
So he would get in with his little suits. And he was doing very well as an actor as well. So it would be me and Jack and then all of Hef's people. Sure. And we would just be like 8 bottles of Dom Perignon, Trader Vic's, dinners, lamb chops. Of course, that Hef loved the lamb chops. Well, people that know Hef knew that. And those are my favorite dish too. But it was surreal. I started going to the parties. Roseanne Barr was like, honey, what month are you? And I was like, I'm not a playmate. And she was like, well, you could be. Yeah. And I thought, wow, this is so cool. Everyone was so nice. Yeah. And people think I'm lying. Never saw a drug. Never saw nudity. Well, except for the barbecues I did, the girls were topless.
Hef was so strict about the drugs, right? Like
there was nothing there.
There were very specific goals. There were very specific rules that everyone had to follow. And if you didn't follow them, there were very specific things that you had to do. I don't want to speak on that behalf, but even when you went to all the parties and the barbecues and stuff, it was so different back then, right? And I always hear
it was crazy. I smacked his hand for looking at my little. She was like 17 years old. My friend was come with me. Yeah. And he looked at her tattoo and he pulled her bikini to see the rest of it. And I think he was actually innocently looking at the tattoo. But I slapped his hand and he's like, okay, Mom. So that's how I got that from Hef. And I thought, oh my God, I slapped Hef's hand. And there were like 10 of us there. Yeah. It wasn't like hundreds of people. It was like 10 people. Wow. So I'm like, oh my God, how did I get here? But I was never like, his favorite girl or any of that. But he had a respect for me because he knew, that's Merv Griffin's girl. Yeah. And I never worked for Merv Griffin or Tony Griffin. I just was always there. I was singing. I was dancing.
Well, you were in the world, right?
The swing dancing. It was just like this guy would twirl me and throw me in the air and drag me across the floor. And I had the ballet background, but I never did ballroom dancing.
Oh, they got to teach me.
You need a good leader. If a man can lead, you're fine. Go with it. He would drag me across the floor and then throw me in the air. And I'd be like, and then Olivia Newton-John's like, what in the heck? And I'm like,
I feel like men don't dance
I love you
anymore.
All. They don't. But every guy I've been with thinks they can. Sorry, Dale, but And we're going to Cicada. We're going to Cicada tomorrow night, Dale and I, to
I
dance.
won't tell him about this.
So have you been to Cicada?
I've never been.
Oh,
no.
it's a 1920s in downtown LA. The whole place is 1920s. Burlesque dancers like that you had
whole place?
at your party. Those all came from there.
What
of
about
course.
Clifton's? Because they have like a ballroom.
Clifton's is amazing, but Cicada is like the dinner. You go and you have dinner. You watch the band. There's the burlesque. They come out and do their show.
Oh, that's my favorite.
It is fantastic. It's the best date night ever.
Wow.
Ever. And we go all the time. But Dale will get out there and do his like Elvis dance and he's doing the leg and everyone else is dancing professional swing dancing.
Yeah.
And then I'm out there just doing whatever. And I'm just like, we are literally like, I don't know, just the funniest duo in the world. Because, but he's kind of a ham.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
Yeah. I mean, people have to have their little quirks and things. What was the moment in your life that you looked around a party or an event or just a moment where you're like, I made it?
Well, I did work on Kobe Bryant's wedding. I was an event planner and I was in a wedding with Dale in Ireland for his daughter's wedding. Because like I said, we're best friends.
Yeah.
We travel the world together. And one of his very dear friends, the Sperry family, the daughter married Miles Teller. Kaylee Sperry, that's Dale's cousin's daughter, married Miles Teller.
Uh-huh.
So she called up Kobe because they're from Orange County. Kobe had a house in Anaheim Hills with Vanessa. And she was like, I'm with your wedding planner. It was like a very surreal moment. But you know what the funny thing was? I don't really think he remembered me.
I mean, you meet so many people.
I can admit the truth,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
here it was like his wedding. I'm like, but then he died so shortly after. So I cried. I dropped to the ground. But it's like people that try to tell me that I never went to the Playboy Mansion. I'm
Yeah.
like, we couldn't bring cameras in.
Yeah.
I had a few pictures in the front of the mansion.
Yeah.
None with Hef, really. I think maybe one with him in the background.
But it also wasn't.
I don't even know where those pictures are at
But
this
you
point.
don't even need to take a photo with it because it's all about the moment. And I really think we're going back into it, right? Like you had the parties, you had the iconic moments where not everybody can go, but that's on purpose because you don't want everyone to go, right?
Absolutely.
I can love everybody, but you're not invited to my house,
Absolutely.
Then you went to the space where like social currency, it was like you have to take photos, you have to prove it. I mean, I do it and I have fun with social media, right? Like it's not everything to me, but like, of course I'd love to post where I am and whatever.
But if you vote, you can't show an ID here in California.
And you're going back into it now where people are taking your phone, but you're getting the phone taken away when you go to the party. You're getting like you're not allowed to post about it. You shouldn't even tell other people about it because it's all about that intimate moment that you're sharing with the people that are there.
Well, you know what?
Else.
Honestly, Francesca, is I've been looking at a lot of people's social media because I'm collaboratively managing. Go follow Michelle Farrell Management, and it's Michelle Farrell to look at my pages. But I see these girls that some were at the casting for Playmate of the Year and all these things that we did at Playboy, but their pages are almost too professional. I'm not going to name names, but it's beautiful. It looks like a movie, but what are you really doing in there? It's a party, but what is your brand? Does it go with your brand? I'm leaning more towards just do a home video. Like I like it that you're a poet and you're just about words and things that of substance, because it's fine if that's your brand. But because I look at that and sometimes I'm like, well, I wish mine looked like that. Like it looks like something like this, like a beautiful camera and angles.
Yeah.
But do you really get to know that person like that?
Yeah.
Probably not. Like if you look at like Taylor Swift's page or anyone famous like that, they are their picture with their cat or whatever. And they're not hashtagging everybody because they've made it. They don't need to.
Yeah.
But I think if you just have that attitude in life,
Yeah.
I'm learning to be like that because I look at other people and I'm like, I want to have millions of followers too, but you don't need millions. You need that. Like if you're selling
Niche.
a brand, or if I'm a model, I want to sell calendars, you need those 10 or 20 good clients that they're always there. I mean, I could sell an old shoe and I have certain fans that will buy it because they just go, we love Michelle. And you know what? We don't want this, but we'll buy it because it's her.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think that's really important. And I think, one, when you're making it in the industry, when you're making it wherever you want to make it, there is this brand or this business that you're creating with it, and you have a team that helps you curate that. But that's not all of who you are. And it's easy to get lost if you don't have the foundation. I would say most people don't have a foundation. Granted, I compare myself to a lot of other people, but I try to bring it back to like, that's not who I am. And when I try to be that, and when I've tried to make the curated feed and post things for other people, I'm left empty. I'm like, I'd rather post a selfie with my dog where I'm like, or my nipple is half out or something, you know, where I'm like, oops, whatever, because that's who I am. And that makes me happy.
I looked at your Halloween post of Honey Birdette Party.
Yeah.
And great brand, by the way. Send me some stuff, like, because I don't have millions of followers. Okay, I'm sorry.
I can hook you up. It's okay.
But they're very like picky with you have to have millions of followers. I'm like, don't you know those are paid for? Anyway, not to knock those people. I love you all. But
the tag was out. I had like another thing.
But what I liked about it was that you weren't like,
yeah.
You were just like, do. And then you were like, oh, boo, boo, boo.
And then I ran.
You were so Marilyn Monroe-y. And I was like, she's just so cute. And I think that, you know, we just always can't get that wide angle shot or whatever. But I will say this, a gal that I love, Mia, the model Mia, she shot me last night on the red carpet.
Yeah.
Damn, she did a good job.
You
would have thought that she was a professional photographer.
Some people can shoot it. I mean, you podcaster always gets the lighting right in here where I'm like,
this is beautiful.
This is my selfies, you know, but it is the lighting and it is the camera and it is the posing and it's so much that goes with it. But you can't lose yourself and you can't lose who you are.
You really can. And I know, I mean, God, the lighting is everything. People, if you saw me in the sunshine today with my filter, I looked fantastic driving here with the filter. But it was the lighting was just...
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really like filter when it's far away or if it's like the whole outfit. Of course I'll pose without the filter. But when your face is right here and you're doing it, it's like I've got to throw it on there. I'm sorry, people. Yeah. People always tell me, don't use it. I'm like, I have to.
But whatever makes you happy. Who the fuck cares?
God dang it. I need that smooth look when I'm looking straight at my face.
You already have I need your skin, but that's besides the point. What are you up to now? So you did the parties. Obviously, you can sing, you can dance, you literally can do everything. We didn't even talk about your fashion. We didn't even talk about...
Well, I'm wearing Frenchie Couture fashion. I've got a vintage clothing line that I just thrift all the time. It's my passion, my hobby. But I don't like to wear outfits. I'll probably never wear this again because I'm doing the podcast in it. So then you can borrow it. And then once you go on the red carpet with it or even wear it out, then you can return it and then someone else can wear it.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of, it's like, it's sustainable because it's recycled clothing. There's a lot of good positives about it. But when I manage someone, they get the benefit of using my clothes.
Yeah.
And I really don't manage like a regular manager. I only do it for a month. It's like a 4-week training course, crash course, how to get your career up to the next level quickly. It's like a fast track to gaining momentum.
Yeah.
And then hopefully I'll set you up with another agent and manager that can take you further than I can at that point.
Yeah.
Because I know my limitations. It's like I'm very good at introductions, but I don't want to give those away for free anymore.
Yes.
Because it's taken me years to get. And I think people have to work hard and I'll lead them to the water, but then they're going to have to drink it.
What makes a good client? What makes a good person?
They have to already have some talent. I'm not going to probably train them how to sing or act or dance. However, I have helped some influencers. Tayler Holder is one of them. They came to me when he was about 16 years old.
Yeah.
He's got 20 million on TikTok now.
Yeah.
He started on Vine.
Wow.
And I met him when it was transitioning and Musical.ly came out before it was TikTok. And I said, well, why don't you, go on these other platforms? And then it was kind of a collab with him and his mom.
Yeah.
They go, where do we live? I told them to go to Vine and Sunset. And they really kept calling me like, well, what should I do for my son? Where do we go from here? And I took him to a few parties and he was allowed to go because I was chaperoning. And that's I think is a testimony to this young kid going to some Hollywood parties. And I made sure he was protected, that he didn't drink anything or whatever. But now I'm best of friends with his mother and we're doing some collabs, hopefully with some famous like Dolly Parton because he's country.
Wow.
But those in the works. And I think what sets me apart from other collabs or managers or whatever is that I actually do go to the Grammys every year, the Oscars every year. I usually have some artists that were nominated or producers I work with that were nominated.
Yeah.
And so you want to have actual quality that you're working with. And I'll tell you the little free hint that it takes a lot of cashola. So if you're thinking about getting into the industry of entertainment or music or anything, you do need money to put behind yourself.
Yeah.
You have to pay for education, settings like this. As you know, it's not free.
Yeah.
So don't expect to just break into it. The days of playing the guitar at Starbucks are no longer happening.
Yeah.
Like you can be a Justin Bieber, it happens, but it may not.
Yeah.
So you have to plan it out very strategically and organically.
Yep. Yeah. And also, I mean, proximity again matters. And we talked about this earlier, but not that you have to get plastic surgery, but when you're in LA, there is an aesthetic that's required.
Absolutely.
If you're in New York, there's an aesthetic that's required. And again, you don't need it. It's not a mandatory.
Absolutely.
But look who's around you that's competing for the same thing that you want.
It's so true. Now in acting, it's really not the case unless you're doing soap operas.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the A-list celebrities, aside from Angelina Jolie, and I mean actresses right now, Julia Roberts, Meryl Streep, Mel Gibson, any of the top people, they are not perfect.
Yeah.
And you have this image of them. But then when you look at them compared to our world and the Playboy world, they are so much girl next door looking. We're the ones
that's the girl. That's
we're the ones that look like, whoa, ba ba boom. But not every part wants that.
Yeah.
So if you want to be able to hit more, they're just starting to have blonde moms on Disney.
Yeah.
Like it was always like the dark haired girls or the mousy
You're
girls.
right. You're
Look at Jennifer
right.
Aniston, not conventional at all.
Yeah.
She's definitely unconventional in her looks, but she's beautiful more on the inside out.
Yeah.
And she's a gorgeous woman, but she's not like, and to compare it to Angelina because of the Brad Pitt situation. But look how that ended.
Yeah.
Yeah. Need I say more? No, because that was all during that whole time frame that I was up and coming too with a lot of my entertainment world. But I think mine has started from such a young age. And I feel like if it is your true passion, do come to Los Angeles. If you're a singer and you want to do Broadway, go to New York.
Yeah.
I love New York. It's like my heart is half there at all times, because I have a lot of friends there too.
I love New York too. I once, I broke into Marilyn Monroe's apartment.
Oh, I love you. I'll tell you where her house is here.
Oh, she has one on Catalina Island. I went to that one. I went to New York and I literally, like, I had a taxi. They dropped me off and the doorman opened up my taxi door, let me inside, binged me up into the apartment. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a tourist. And then I walked away because I was nervous.
Oh, that's
but it was so natural. It was just, they just opened it. They were like, come in. And I was like,
see, I would have come in and gone.
You would have laid in bed.
I would have been like, I am her, conjured up. But the funny thing is like, it goes back to the confidence level. And you have to be, and Becca's like this too. Becca Brazil, my PR agent, she's fantastic. She's also a singer, DJ, everything you could think of. But she would have gone in. She would have probably brought all of them with her to have a party up there. Because, more people, often than not, you can just like walk into places. You wear a tux or a beautiful gown at Cannes Festival.
Actually,
I was in every single yacht, every party, everything.
The amount of people that now impersonate me or impersonate some of my employees to like just be with Playboy, I'm like, they got more access than I got.
That is absolutely, and I also, with the vintage clothing line, I also sell knockoffs because sometimes you don't know if they're a knockoff. Like you're like, the tag's cut off.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's the person who owned it. And sometimes you can tell the quality, sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
So what I figured, I'd some at the Trading Post. I did this for a while, the Melrose Trading Post. The celebrities don't care. They'll come up and I go, well, I don't know if it's a real Gucci tracksuit. They're like, we don't care, we'll pay. So you can charge top dollar for knockoffs.
I want to go shopping.
Yeah, it's crazy. They don't care if it's real or not. So celebrities, especially like Cardi B, people like her, they just think it's cute. Like, I'm gonna wear it. I don't care.
Matter. Yeah.
So we gotta stop with this whole, it has to be a brand. I have one friend that she could afford anything she wants.
Yeah.
Everything she wears does not have a brand.
Wow.
It's like basic.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I go, where? She could wear it because she has all the money in the world. She just wears
doesn't matter.
Tank top and jeans. And I'm like, what kind of jeans? She's like, I don't know. They're probably the Gap or something. I'm like, oh my God. Like she doesn't even know.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty nuts. I'm kind of a brand whore a little bit on certain times.
Sure.
At certain times.
I have moments,
I have like vintage Halston and like stuff that oh my gosh, he would be like, yes, that was in. Some of these people don't even know what the brand is. I'm like, this was what Marilyn Monroe wore. Ugh. Bill Blass, Marilyn wore that brand. Valentino, Oscar de la Renta. I have an Oscar de la Renta in my closet right now. It's a white lace dress that you would look great in, by the way. But my fashion is limited. It's my size. So shoes usually from 7 to 9.5. I do sometimes buy amazing things. Some smaller if I think they're beautiful. But you're right in my size category. So you have unlimited. Just get me into all the parties that no one can't, and I'll get you in the ones that you can't. And then I'll give you the response next time.
Done. I know.
Okay, Becca. I'm sure Becca thinks it's fine.
I'm like, no, that's a wasted opportunity. As we're wrapping up, I want to do a quick fire with you.
Okay, perfect. I love these.
Favorite restaurant in LA?
Spago.
Favorite beach to go to?
Malibu, Point Dume.
It's my favorite one too. That's where all the paparazzi photos are taken, by the way.
And all the movies are filmed
Because
there.
people don't know about
You
it.
can spot it though in every film. You're like, there it is, like the big rock.
It's my
I could
favorite.
point out which films it's in every film.
I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed.
It's crazy.
What is something that people don't know about LA?
The people are actually friendly here. People think that people are not nice here. They're very nice here.
Yeah.
Very nice.
How do you know you can trust somebody?
I feel like it's the proof is in the pudding. So, I mean, you can't hustle a hustler, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hustler, baby. No, you just can't. Like, I've been around for too long.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can spot it a mile away when it's like they're not authentic or they're just trying to meet who I know. And one thing is they don't look at you.
Yeah.
They're kind of just like looking around and you're like, I'm here with you.
They're looking for the next opportunity.
I'm here with you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, good for them, but
Yeah.
don't do it to me because I'll be like, yo.
Secret to success.
I would say that it takes a lot of hard work. I mean, I say you give yourself a decade in anything you want to do because you have a lot of decades in your lifetime.
Yeah.
So give it a decade. That's what No Doubt did. They did it for 10 years before they made it. People think they walked onto the scene and made it. It took them 10 years of grinding.
Wow.
It doesn't mean it's going to take that long. And
Yeah.
hopefully if you work with me, I'm going to help you fast track it. But if you don't know people like myself or Becca or you that can push them to the next level or introduce them to people, then you've got to just do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite sports team?
Oh gosh, right now Dodgers. Usually it was the Cincinnati Reds years ago, but I love the Lakers because of Kobe.
Yeah.
Like I'm a diehard Lakers and Dodgers fan.
Wow. Where can somebody find you on a Friday night?
I would say that I would be either on a red carpet somewhere important because I don't go to just any, I go to the ones that are important, or I'll just be at home. I go to bed like at 9 and then I stay up till 2 on doing my social media.
Yeah.
Curled up doing my
Not
social
in your
media.
bed. Oh my God.
I get the glasses out and I look like Mrs. Magoo.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How funny. What's an iconic spot that doesn't exist anymore? That you,
Playboy Mansion, it's there, but it's not the same
I
thing.
know it's owned by a family.
Yeah, they took down the bunnies at Play. Are you nuts? At least you guys had bunny parking. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
That made me so happy.
But besides the mansion,
Something that's no longer here anymore? Like a place or
Yeah.
a thing? A place, I would say in Hollywood? Or
in
just
LA,
any in Los Angeles?
Orange County would count too, I guess.
I would say that that's no longer here anymore. There's a lot of restaurants like Trader Vic's. It's now inside the Hilton. It's a tiny little place.
Yeah.
Trader Vic's. Why did you close? Oh, it was like you're going into Hawaii, like a tiki room. Did you ever go there?
I never went there.
Oh,
But there's a
the
great
Mai Tais, the whole Hawaiian looking cups and the food and the whatever happened to, by the way, it's macadamian ahi or mahi mahi, crusted macadamia nuts. That was the biggest, most popular dish
I've never had that.
at Trader Vic's. It was so popular. People come from all over the world to have it. So yeah, Trader Vic's.
Wild.
Where are you?
I know. Who are you most excited about right now?
I am so excited about one of my little singers, Melanie Madison. She is 18, and we're teaching her to come right out on pitch because she's a new singer. But when you're live, you don't have a chance to kind of get up to the note. So we're teaching her perfect pitch. But I think she's the next big thing for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, very excited about her. Her mom's Lindsay Dolson. She's a beautiful model.
Yeah.
In fact, a Playboy photographer reached out to me, and who's like old school Playboy photographer from like the lingerie catalog. He's like, "Who's Lindsay?" And that's her mother. And I was like, "Lindsay!" Like out of the blue, he just like, "I saw this girl in your story," and I'm imagining the mom and the daughter. So the mom's an entrepreneur too, but I'm very excited about her daughter because she's so amazing. And music, as you can see, is my absolute passion.
No, I mean, I wish I could sing. But I always tell people, I'm like, if you can't get in, get around, right? So like, yes, you have Playboy, but if you want to shoot, if you want to be a model, if you want to be around Playboy,
yes,
you can look at the photographers and the credits that they used to do,
Absolutely.
and they know it. Like they can't promise you anything. Same with Guess, same with like any of the other fashion brands. Shoot with their photographers, reach out to them. They may not respond right away, and that's okay.
Yes.
But you have to do the work and you have to follow up. And if it's meant to be, it'll be.
Yeah, and I think branding's important. Becca would be like, branding's everything.
Yeah.
But, as we talked about earlier, and Becca talked about this on a podcast recently, that we're not just defined by one thing.
Yeah.
So your hat here, your hat there, our hat. We're so many hats that we wear
Yeah.
as people, not just women, everyone.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny when people try to pigeonhole you because you're like, but no person is, everyone
Yeah.
is multifaceted.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're in a basement in someone's house. We're all created differently.
Yeah.
There's no room for jealousy. Hef was very good about that. He promoted he promoted sisterhood in the
Yeah.
bunnies, and I think that
You
that's
have
a
to.
big deal.
You have to. And I think sisterhood and brotherhood and all of that just went away. And envy is the one thing that'll destroy humanity.
It's crazy, and we all have a tinge of it, like
Yeah,
But
of
then
course.
I go, but
Like, check yourself.
it's okay.
Check
Yeah.
yourself.
I look in the mirror, I'm like, I'm good.
And also, like, don't ruin other people's lives. And, like, just because you're jealous, like, doesn't mean that you have to put them down.
No, my biggest hater was like 23, and she got my 200,000 page taken down. I've never been able to get. I've been shadow banned for years, so it's pretty nuts. Like, you have to be careful with everything. Even if I put too many hearts on my dog's page,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, they took my whole page down for that. They said that I was putting inappropriate symbols on my dog's picture.
I will say, my
I kiss him on the mouth. Okay, that's my dog. He's my baby.
my outfit for the party, I was gonna caption it "horned up." They wouldn't let me.
That is ridiculous. Like, you might want to rethink before you post this, right? Because
Yeah.
similar posts have got. Give me a break,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. But I post
Okay.
beautiful women every day, so like,
Just post it on X.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I love you, Elon. Post it on X. You're not going to get taken down for that. They will let you post anything.
Whatever you
there.
wanna do.
Yeah,
I love
It's
this.
It's pretty ridiculous.
I love this conversation. I want to chat with you so much more. For anybody that's listening and watching that wants to connect with you,
I can do my fan page, Michelle That One Girl. My Instagram, it's Michelle Farrell, and then Michelle Farrell Management.
I love it.
Frenchie Couture Fashion for the fashion. So,
We're going shopping. That's
Yeah.
that's part 2.
oh, you're coming over like tonight.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you next time
Thank
on
you so
Everybody Hates LA.
And
Thank
it reminds
you.
me of the Playboy radio because we would film it like
Yeah.
this, and then they would film it around.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
we're doing it. We're making it happen.
we're bringing old school back, babe.